Question. Without exception, all the people in my life, born and raised in Indiana, US, have some level of modern Christian delusion, from mild to strong, but none are willing to look beyond it. In quotes, God is a person in the sky. Jesus was a man and he's coming back as a man. Death and judgment is all we have to look forward to. Go along. The Bible is the Word of God, start to finish, and cannot be disputed. Might as well go along with it. What harm can it bring? End of quote. I cannot and will not support a lie, big or small. I've learned a lot about the world from them, but I rarely get through to them. I have yet to learn the lesson involving such people. Besides, I have created an epic drama for myself. Is this epic drama my ultimate lesson in this particular situation? Take responsibility for myself and forget the rest. Yeah, that's very possible that that is what you're meant to learn from the situation. I've talked about it several times, how I grew up feeling very shocked about some of the things I saw in the world, and I felt it was my responsibility to do something about it, but since it always involves changing other people, I realized I don't really have the power to change other people if they won't listen to anything I say. And so I feel that it's important to understand this dynamic, and I talk more about it in my playlist about avatar psychology. And the person asking this question, and anybody feels this resonates with them, I encourage you to watch that playlist, because I think the essence is that many spiritual people, we came to Earth to help improve the Earth. But we have gotten ourselves into a state of mind where we think the only way we can do something is to change the minds of other people. And therefore, in a sense, we feel that we can't be at peace on Earth and we can't leave the Earth until other people have made certain choices. And that's not a good state of mind to be in. Especially not if it's your life plan to ascend after this lifetime. So what I have found in myself is I had to overcome this mindset. And it is, as the person says, it is an epic drama. I have a playlist called Ego Dramas where I talk about these epic dramas, which might be helpful for you to watch also. So it's very likely that most spiritual people, we have the same dynamic. We need to overcome this desire to change other people. And I think many of us, we deliberately chose to embody in situations where we would encounter people who are so closed-minded that we can't, as the person says, we can't get through to them. And it can be fundamentalist Christians, as in this case, but it can be many other groups of people. And I went to university when I was 18 years old, and I met some born-again Marxists. And there was no way to get through to them either. And so I can see when I look back at my life, I have met many, many people who were in this state of mind. You can see they're suffering, but you can't help them because they won't listen to anything you say. And I used to think when I was younger, it was because I wasn't good enough. I should be able to come up with some argument or some line of reasoning that would get through to these people. But I came eventually to the conclusion that my whole purpose for being with these people was not to change them, but to change myself so that I could let go of the desire to change other people. And just be at peace with letting free will outplay itself, letting the school of hard knocks teach them whatever lessons they might be able to learn or open to learning, and not feel responsible for them. And incidentally, I think that when you overcome this desire, this frustration, you might be able to say something to them that they will actually listen to, because now you're coming from a more neutral state of mind instead of from a frustrated state of mind. So I always look at it myself as if there's any kind of frustration, any kind of tension in me, it's because I have an attachment to a certain outcome. And my inspiration has always been the Buddha sitting under the tree in meditation, the demons of Ma are tempting him to react to anything in this world, and if he had a reaction, he couldn't go into nirvana. So that's always my ideal image there. I'm coming to the point where I don't have any attachments to anything in this world, and therefore I can leave the earth behind in complete peace. And I think it's just what you're sensing here is you are at that point, and it may very well be. I would very seriously recommend it. You try to tune into your individual life plan, your divine plan, and see, is it perhaps in your divine plan to ascend after this lifetime, or maybe in the next lifetime, because that's when it becomes really important to overcome these attachments, where you don't try to do the impossible of changing other people when it can't be done. And I would, I totally understand it, the modern Christian delusion. I mean, I've seen that too in people, especially in the United States. When I lived there, I ran into some fundamentalist Christians who wanted to save me. So I understand if you've grown up among people like that, which I didn't, I can understand it. It can be very frustrating. You can feel very alone and ostracized. And understand this, I cannot and will not support a lie, big or small. But actually here I think there's an important consideration here. Because I've seen this myself, I've seen this in many other spiritual people. It's like there comes a point where we awaken to life having a spiritual side, and we see that a lot of things we were brought up to believe are lies. And now we feel like we go into this state of being on a crusade, where we feel like we have to challenge these lies, we have to make people see it. But if you really tune into your own feelings, you see that you do this from a state of tension, frustration, obsessive compulsiveness almost. I cannot and will not support a lie, big or small. Yeah, but you don't have to support a lie. But there are some times where you just have to accept that people don't want to listen to the truth. They want to believe in the lie. And then you just have to step back. But as I said, it's also possible that you can shift your mind so that instead of coming from this frustrated state, you can just be neutral. And you might be able to say something completely neutral that would actually get through to them. Another thing I would say here is that, once you go into this neutral, once you're in a frustrated state of mind, right? You're talking to somebody. You think they are believing in a lie. You want them right there and then to see that it's a lie. But this is because you're coming from a state of frustration where you feel that if they don't agree with you, you will feel rejected. And as I explained in my Avatar series, we often feel, all of us basically felt rejected when we came to Earth. But if you can overcome that frustration, you can see that you don't have to get immediate results by telling people something. If you tell people something in a neutral way, it's like planting a seed in their minds. And it may take time before that seed works its way up to their conscious minds where they can suddenly see it. Many people I know who are spiritual, they're talking about how, oh yeah, I said something to this person, and it seemed like they didn't really believe it. But then a couple of months later, they told me the same thing. And now it seemed like they thought they had come up with this on their own. They had forgotten I told them. So this is what I mean. You're planting a seed, and the person just needs to kind of have it percolate through their subconscious mind. Then it comes back up, and now they think it's, oh yeah, they came up with this on their own. So once you get rid of that frustration, that obsessive compulsiveness, you can just look at it. If you say things in a neutral way, if they don't react to it, you don't have any reaction to that. You're not frustrated because you're not trying to convince them by there. You're just planting a seed. It's like Jesus' parable about the sower. You're just throwing out the seeds, and some fall on fertile ground and some fall on barren ground. But all of the seeds, even if they fall on fertile ground, it takes time before they sprout and grow. So by being patient with yourself and not demanding these instant results and not feeling inadequate if you don't get the results, you can just be like that. You're just a sower. You're just sowing the seeds.